This is Damien with Damien and Cars, and today we're going to talk to Eduardo about his truck. He has done some modifications, engine swap. We're just gonna get down to it and talk about it, kind of interview style. So hope you guys enjoy it.
All right, so the engine's just a 5.3. It came out of a 2001 Silverado that my dad had. So I get this random text early morning when I was at work, and my dad's like, it's a picture of my dad's truck. They had T-boned it at work with one of the backhoes, and he's like, I guess you got an engine now. So me and my friend get all excited, like, we've been talking about a LS swap. Well, here it is. It fell on our lap pretty much. So that weekend my dad gave me he came and brought us the keys, brought us the truck, and that weekend my friend came over, we tore that truck apart, man, took the engine out, took all the wiring out that we needed. So we took it out, took it back to our shop. We work at a machine shop, so we have a lot of tools to our disposal there. So we took it there, tore the engine all apart, cleaned it up really nice. The only thing the main things that we changed were we put a cam in it, we did springs, and we pretty much just changed all the valve seals, the gaskets. The spark plugs, we did upgrade those. They were they're MSD spark plug cables. The only reason I used these was because a buddy of ours that worked at the shop, he had these laying around, and he's like, dude, try them. If they work, they work. The OEM ones, when we changed the manifolds to long tube headers, were rubbing on the OEM cables, and it melted them. And one day when I was driving on the freeway, I lost spark on this whole side. And when I got to the shop, I realized that it was my spark plugs were completely, my spark plug cables were completely melted. So we added these. I think they have a 45-degree angle, so it pushes us away from the manifold, and then it gives us a better angle and to avoid the manifold. It still has the stock 4L60. In the future, if I decide to go, I don't know, try to upgrade, add more power or something, I might upgrade to a 4L80, but right now a 4L60, that 4L60 runs fine. I haven't had any problems with it. Unless I start pushing crazy power, maybe that's what people say that it gives out, but right now it's running great. Originally we were running the stock ECU from the donor truck, and I used to have it all bundled up right here. It was stuffed right here. The cables were coming out of here. There was a bunch of wires everywhere, and some friends of mine convinced me to spend the money on a Holley Terminator ECU to run the engine and transmission, and I finally gave in, and I spent the money. I think it was like $1,500 for the ECU with the wiring. So everything's pretty much plug and play, and everything tells you, everything's labeled what it is. It's nicely braided. The other one that we used, the stock one, we pretty much taped it up, and it looked a little cheap, like cheapskate way. So this one looks a lot prettier. It's nicely braided. So the reason why I ended up upgrading to the Camaro throttle body was because the Terminator harness only supports certain throttle bodies, and the throttle body that I had before, the plugs didn't fit. So I ended up having to upgrade to this one so that I could plug it in. I ended up having to buy I believe it was a Cadillac CTS pedal also to be able to run this harness. That was all things that I hadn't looked at before, and I didn't know when I bought it. So that was the project was put on hold for a little bit, because later I had to save up money to get this and get the pedal. As long as you follow the instructions on those wiring harnesses, this thing fired right up. Another thing that I had to do was, me and my friend, we didn't know that I was going to need this manifold air temp sensor. So there was already a pre-existing hole right here, and all we did was all we did was open it up a little bit, we tapped it, and we put this brass fitting in there, or a brass sensor, and we were able to plug it right into that.
Nice.
It's all stuff we're learning on the fly, man. But yeah, now I know that if a friend of mine or anybody wants to do an LS swap, I feel pretty comfortable about being able to help them out and get their thing running without any problems. Probably the project from beginning to end, just on the engine, probably took us, I don't know, 2 years. We would get it going, and then we would run into something, and I'd get discouraged, like, you know what, let's put it on hold. And then we'd start getting closer to November for Dino's get down, and that's when you get motivated. All right, let's go. We bought these headers. The headers were Speed Engineering headers that they had told me when I bought them that they would fit an LS swap on a OBS, and this side fit okay, but the other side, the passenger side, was a nightmare to try to fit those. So luckily my buddy knows how to do all the welding with stainless and everything, so we hacked those headers up and we made them, we rerouted them pretty much and made them fit. We ran the stainless exhaust all the way to the mufflers, so right now it's cut off at the mufflers, so it's pretty loud. It's kind of annoying, but we're sooner or later we'll get the exhaust finished up. It runs good. So when I had the stock ECU from the stock truck, the downside was that if it didn't run good, I had to reach out to the guy that did the tuning. He'd have to remotely get in there and upload a tune, and then we'd have to drive it around, then try to figure out, okay, let's make a change here, let's make a change there. So I had to keep bugging this. We had to keep bugging this guy, and the plus side of getting the Terminator harness was that ECU it adds and takes away fuel and stuff like that. It pretty much self-tunes. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the engine could still run better, but right now with that harness, I played with it so many times. I think right now I got it running to the way that I like it. It has so many settings. You can go in there, you can change timing, you can change fuel, you can change shift points on your transmission. It has how you want it to idle speed. So it gave me a little more I don't know, confidence to play with it myself and try to figure it out. When we first got it, I had it bundled up in the corner in the back, and it didn't look pretty. But so I was trying to figure out a way to get it through the firewall and inside of the truck. So what we ended up, I cut a hole like towards the bottom of the engine bay here, or the firewall, and then I cut another hole on that side next to the brake booster, and we ran the wires through behind the dash, and that was a pain in the butt too. But now it's not pretty the way it sits in here, but this is where it sits now. I need to tie some of these wires up, but it gets it out of the way. This is the name of the computer harness, Terminator X Max. So there's that, and then it comes with the little
project.
Another project. The little screen that it uses. It's pretty much like a gauge cluster plus some extras. You can do all the tuning from here if you have to. Yeah, we got pretty lucky because when we worked at that machine shop, and we had some guys move in that do a lot of like high horsepower engines they specialize in Mopar, but these guys know engines, they know computers, they know wiring. So whenever we ran into problems or if we ever needed any special tools, these guys had it all. So I got lucky that they were there. So they helped me with the cam, they helped me with the valves. Once we put that together, when we first got the engine running, we thought it was running good, and then as soon as you would touch the gas pedal, the engine would die, and it would die, and it would die, and we're like, what the heck is going on? We thought it was the tune. We kept blaming it on the tune. It's the tune. The tune doesn't work. And then we went from the tune to the O2 sensors. The O2 sensors aren't picking up. They're not getting good feedback. The wiring's messed up on the O2 sensors. So then I went, got new O2 sensors. We wired them in. It still wasn't working, and we're like, what the heck is going on, man? So then we kind of just gave up on it, and then but then Dino started coming around again, and this was the next following year, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna get it running this time. So I get it. We get back to the O2 sensors, and then you're like, you know what, we haven't checked the fuel, and then we started really thinking, you know what, it's the fuel. So we figured out it was the fuel. We put the gauge there. We realized, dude, we're not getting the full pressure. So we took the bed off. So my cousins came, they met me at the shop. We took the bed off. We pulled the pump out, and it was the little hose that connects from the pump to the feed line. Was like a little rubber hose, and it had a hole in it. And we're like, no way. There's no way that it could have been this whole time. Well, we replaced that, put it back in, and as soon as I put the key in, fired right up, and we're like, we're making it to Dino's. That was 2021, and super loud because I still hadn't welded the mufflers on. It was stupid loud, actually. I didn't even make sure that my tail lights weren't working. Somebody at Dino's told me, dude, your tail lights are out. So I was like, So one of the ground wires was missing in the back, so I hooked that up. Got my tail lights going. The truck was full of dirt because it had been sitting inside a shop for 2 years before that. So yeah, we got that figured out, made it, was happy, man. And then after that it was probably still that same year when I lowered it, or not when I lowered, when I bought the lowering kit. So I never thought, I always told myself, I'm not gonna lower my truck, I'm not gonna lower it, I'm not gonna fall into it. And the whole time growing up, my dad always had like all-terrain tires, and I learned to love it like that. And yeah, man, my cousins, my friends, they all convinced me, dude, you need to lower it, it looks sick. So I gave in, man, and I with my wife's permission, I bought the QA1 lowering kit. So it came with new control arms, C-notch frame, coilovers all around. What else did it come? It came with the sway bar link, and then I bought DJM 2-inch drop spindles to add an extra 2-inch drop in the front. So it has the capability of going 5.7 drop. I'm not exactly sure what it is right now. I'm thinking it probably like a 4.6, maybe 4.6, 4.5 drop is what it has right now. But yeah,
Nice.
I learned to like it.
You can kind of see it right here. So
That's the sway bar that you can see there poking out. The instructions are pretty detailed, so as long as you follow the instructions, man, everything was pretty straightforward. Before I even started, I did a ton of research, so I knew what tools I was gonna need, what kind of lubricants I was gonna need, what size sockets I was gonna need, torque specs, everything. So I followed it to a T, so it rides really nice, man. Night and day from leaf springs to coilovers was a huge upgrade in my opinion. Yeah, you can see the coilover poking through the wheels. The C-notch frame. It rides a lot stiffer than what I was used to, but it's still smooth. And I know I've been in other cars that you go a different route. You don't go the full coilover conversion, and this feels stiff, but without the coilovers, I think it would have felt a lot stiffer if I would have just done a regular like flip kit or or something like that. I wanted to do it the right way, and I'm never gonna get rid of this truck, so I'm like, I'm gonna spend the money on it. So I believe it was like $5,500 for the whole lowering kit with everything, all the hardware, the lowering, the drop spindles for the front. But yeah, it has a new oil pan for the differential cover. It has so many components. It took a lot of work, man. I was waking up an hour and a half before work. Some days, it was like the week before Dino's 2022. I was like, I have to get this done. This lowering kit's been sitting in my garage for 6 months. I need to get it done. So I waited last minute, of course, and I was rushing. Yeah, I was waking up an hour. So I go in at 5 o'clock. So I was getting up at like 3:30 and going straight to the garage and making a bunch of noise at 3:30 in the morning, drilling holes and grinding and cutting. But yeah, man, I'm happy with it. I was able to knock it out in a week.
Nice, man. Well, I mean, it's come out so far. It's looking great. I see you try to do a little vinyl work here.
I saw a couple of videos of some cars that were this color, and I was like, man, I wonder if that color would look good on mine. So I just bought a sample piece from a company called Vinyl Frog, and I'm like, I've never done vinyl before, but I'm willing to try it. So I bought a sample piece. We tried it here. It looks okay, but it's not like a paint job, man. So I think I'm gonna end up painting it instead. There was a few spots where we messed up, and I'm afraid that if I spend the money on enough to wrap the whole car and I have mess up spots, I'm gonna have to buy more to replace it. I'm afraid to do that.
Have you ever wrapped anything like a car before?
No, this was the first time, and I just watched a few videos on YouTube, and I said, it can't be that hard. And yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah. You gotta have a skill for it, huh?
Yeah, so I didn't prep the surface good enough, and like at the bottom, it's already coming undone. I think it's been on there for a month maybe. And yeah, the bottom's coming undone already. That tells me that I didn't clean it good enough.
But that color it's nice. That color is nice.
Yeah, the color is really cool. The reason I wanted to go green was because that was my mom's favorite color. So this truck, my parents bought this truck when I was like 7 years old or 6 years old, something like that. And this was the truck that my mom used to take me and my brother to school in. And when I was of age, they're like, we're never gonna get rid of this truck. We're gonna give this truck to you. So this truck sat at their house in the backyard for years. And finally, when I was able to drive, they handed me the keys, and I was like, heck yeah. So I'm never gonna get rid of this thing, man.
Heck no, man. So that's the green you're gonna go with when we paint. I mean,
yeah. So, so yeah.
I'll help out more this time, man. I swear, I'll help you out more.
Yeah, I want to do a similar green. I want it to be almost black. I want a really, really dark green. So I want it to look black at night. But yeah, I'm gonna stick to green. I'm gonna do the bed liner too. I've never done that either, so that's gonna be a first. So we'll do a video for that later. I started sanding some of it already, but it's a pain in the butt. So I'm saving it for a day I have more patience. So I gotta sand the whole bed off, and then we'll get into it. The wheels I bought. The wheels I pulled. Yeah, the wheels.
How about the wheels?
They're just 20s. I was debating going from 20 to 22s, but I convinced myself to go 20 to give myself some more tires. So I didn't want to be afraid to drive through Phoenix. They don't got the best streets.
What?
The streets aren't the best. I was afraid I was afraid to hit a pothole. I was gonna hit a pothole and break my rim. So I just decided to go 20s. These trucks they look really nice with 22s, but there's a lot of them that I saw with 20s that I was like, okay, I'll do 20s. And I bought them from AZ Pro Performance. It's a local place here in Arizona. So I bought the wheels from there, and I ended up picking up the tires on Amazon. Actually, the tires are Nito's NTS 55. They had a lot of really good reviews, so I ended up buying these on Amazon. 245 40 in the front, 275 40 in the rear, and they're 8-inch wide in the front, 10-inch wide in the back. I think it looks pretty good. So for all the stuff that we used, QA1 is the big one for the lowering kit. We used DJM was the drop spindles for the front. We got the American Racing wheels that I got at AZ Pro Performance. We got Nito for the tires. We got Holley for the engine control system, the ECU. We got MSD for the spark plugs and spark plug wires. I think those are the big ones. AutoZone, get in the zone for everything else.
Heck yeah, man. AutoZone, dude. I know you gotta rush home. You gotta go feed the kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Thanks so much for letting us film it, dude.